It's what I've worked for all my life and I've achieved it, but I've never ever been so miserable in my entire life. Hello and welcome. This is a very difficult video for me to make. I am considering quitting interior design. It feels really disheartening. I actually had such a passion for it. I will just dive into my story a little bit and then I will go into why I actually think I want to quit. I think for me the passion started when I was 14. I remember just someone in my school mentioning the job interior designer and I just thought, that's me, that's what I want to do, that's how I want to earn my living. Prior to that, I always enjoyed the thought of creating spaces. Ever since I was little, I played Lego and then later on I moved to Sims. I know that's how a lot of interior designers first develop their passion. I really enjoyed that and I thought that would be amazing to just make a living from what I really enjoy and what I actually, just spent my days doing. And even then I would look at spaces and I would think, oh, how can I rearrange this? I just really had like a visual idea of a room. I would actually help my mum decorate her house as well. It would bring me so much joy. So since I was 14, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. That actually really gave me a sense of purpose, a sense of direction. I finished school, I knew what I wanted to do, I went to uni for it. Uni was actually a little bit different at first than what I thought interior design would be, because I thought it would be decorating homes, fluffing pillows, ordering furniture. And then I found out it was a lot more than that. It was more architectural. We'd do technical drawings. We would actually know how walls are built, how the floors built, how a house is constructed. At the beginning, I was a little bit skeptical, but then I actually really grew to like that side of it as well. I found it really interesting and I actually really enjoyed my degree. I mean, it isn't an easy degree. It is really hard work and a lot of long hours, but I was really passionate about it. So then I graduated, then I started my first job and that's sort of when my passion ended. Oh gosh, I don't even know where to start. I would say the first year of it was okay as well. I was at a great company. Everyone was really nice. At first, I expected it to just sort of be an extension from uni. I was actually working from home 2 days a week and I just got a task given. Then I finished the task. I was actually really quite happy. They, at the beginning, just let me do my thing, just let me learn, just let me take my time. And they were really good at teaching me the basics. The first 3 months, it was quite slow pace as well. Once the actual work started picking up and once I kept on hearing, when is this finished? Why aren't you finished yet? Do this quicker. I actually panicked a little bit and I just thought, oh God, I just need to get this done quicker. So I did things quicker. I just basically would send out PDFs and then there would be a lot of comments on them on what to change and what was wrong and how to make it right. And I would have that every day. So then I would be like, oh gosh, okay, I'm just going to work really hard. I'm going to finish this so that there aren't any mistakes. So I would send it over to my supervisor. Just hope, okay, this time I hope I'm not going to get any bad feedback. I just want it to be perfect and I don't want there to be mistakes. And of course there would be mistakes. That is what interior design is like, just making changes until it's right. Over the months and months, I learned, oh, this is how the client would like it, this is how they wouldn't like it. And that is just something that comes with time. And I wouldn't have had that knowledge at the beginning. And I should have given myself a lot of grace. So it wasn't that things were right or wrong, but in my head, I interpreted it really as that. And I saw it as critique and I took it, unfortunately, a little bit too personally. I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm doing everything wrong. I'm not doing a good job. I need to do better. So then I actually pushed myself to do better. I was like, okay, I'm just going to, for this deadline, do everything perfect. And I would just work harder and harder to make it perfect, to meet the deadline. And I was so stressed and it just kept on building up. And I didn't really realize it at first. It just was a slow process, but I was just pushing myself way too hard. I was so ruthless with myself. I just thought, why am I not doing a good job? My supervisors, they were really strict on it being perfect. They were perfectionists. And I was a perfectionist with myself and I put a lot of pressure on myself. So having that outside pressure of it being done so quickly, but it having to be perfect was wow, it was a lot and it just destroyed me mentally. I stayed in that job for a year and 8 months. I really wanted to make the 2-year mark, but my health just declined so much. You know, just the normal stress symptoms of your heart racing. And then as the weeks and months went by, it turned into anxiety. I would get anxiety every time I got asked the question, like, when is this done? Why isn't this done yet? Because a lot of the time it wasn't done, or I knew I wasn't going to do it in time, or I found I wasn't able to do it possibly in the time that I was given. In the actual working world, everything is about money. So the quicker you do it, the more money it makes. So you just have to do it quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. And I just felt so alone. I just thought, oh God, like I was in such a dark place. I really put it all on myself. I thought, like, I'm a failure. I'm not good at my job. I'm not doing a good job. I'm terrible at this. Essentially, I felt not good enough. It's just sad thinking about it because I put it all on myself, and I don't actually think that's true. I think it takes two to tango. I was just thinking in my head the whole time, oh, maybe in a few months' time it will get better. Like, I need something to change because I'm at my wit's end. I was having panic attacks. I was having anxiety every day walking in. Like, I was sat in the office for 8 hours, usually having like heart palpitations and anxiety the entire time. I actually have issues with my ears. I actually would get tinnitus attacks after the stress was over. And that created a loop of anxiety and panic for me. For me, I have chronic tinnitus, but then sometimes acute tinnitus layers on top of it. I always worry that that acute tinnitus becomes chronic. That then developed into panic for me. Whenever I had that question of when is this done, I would essentially just in my head be like, oh my God, I'm gonna get stressed now and the stress will cause my tinnitus. That just wasn't good for me at all, and I should have probably quit so much more prior to when I actually did. I just knew I just had to quit after having 3 panic attacks in 1 week. Essentially, my nervous system was just on high alert. Like, I just had so much stress and cortisol in my body at all times, and I was just really on edge the entire time. Yeah, so I quit, and then afterwards I felt so much better. And I actually do have a video on me quitting that job on this channel. I can link it. After 2 months, I'd say I felt better. So I urge anyone that is in that position to, if you can somehow, just take some sort of break, because it does help. Sometimes it's the only solution. I just thought, like, what do I do next? And I started applying for a few jobs. After a little while, I thought, like, what do I do now? I wanted to maybe do part-time or something. I couldn't find anything part-time in interior design because I just knew I was like so worn down. I needed to just cut down my hours a little bit. In the end, I found a job in Germany, so I moved back to Germany, which is where I'm from originally. And this job was full-time, but I thought maybe like a year down the line I can ask for it to be part-time or something. And when I worked there, I found out that this is not a part-time role. It just felt really exploitative, if I'm completely honest. I don't even know if I'm quite ready to talk about everything that happened there. It's quite bad. I was meant to basically, I was expected to work overtime every day, just work really, really long hours. I was not getting any money for the overtime either. 8 hours was what I was scheduled to do, plus 1 hour lunch, plus then 2 hours overtime. So I'd be at work for 11 hours. For me, I just cannot really do that. I just don't have the energy to do that. It's just a lot. And then I was traveling a lot with that job as well. And it was sometimes 6 hours of traveling plus then 10 hours at work. And then you dropped dead in a hotel room. A few times I had 16-hour days. Of course, they were not the norm. The fact that it happened a few times is quite shocking because they sort of wanted, ideally, for me to travel outside of work hours, and I wasn't allowed to write them down or anything. Yeah, so that was like one of the biggest things. I was just so exhausted. So much disorganization, mismanagement, no training actually. I actually got a little bit of training towards the end because they noticed that they hadn't actually really trained me and that I wasn't doing things how they wanted me to do them. I think that it was quite like a harsh environment as well. I got like insults and that, and I just was thinking, I don't really feel like I need to be putting up with being insulted if I am trying my best. And I had 4 different managers or something like that. I don't even know. And they were all telling me different things and they weren't really speaking with each other. And I was just meant to do things here and there and everywhere from everyone. But no one knew that I was actually doing a job for someone else. And there was no consideration for how long things take. There was just here's a task, I will speak to you in half an hour again and see if you finish that task, or I will give you a task at 5 o'clock, which is when I was meant to finish. And then tomorrow morning, first thing, I would get a call and then I would just get feedback on it without it even ever being finished. What do you mean you are giving me a task at 5 o'clock and then you're basically expected me to have finished it by the first thing in the morning? And it's just not really all that realistic. I didn't actually have this experience at the job that I had before, which is also why I knew that it can be different. There were so many red flags, so many, just so many people that quit. Everyone that was working in the office prior to me actually had quit, and I found that out on my first day. That was the first red flag, to be honest. I would have wanted to structure it. I learned in my last job how I can do that. And obviously, because I was new, I'm a junior designer, I don't have any right to structure anything. And I think that is what I found the hardest. Just the inability to actually structure my own day and to make it better for myself if I wanted to, but there was no way for me to do that. It's just left me feeling very depleted of the career, and I'm just thinking, I just feel so hopeless. I'm just thinking, is it like that everywhere? I'm just so drained, completely and utterly drained from interior design and from this job. I'm just thinking, I don't think this is the career for me. I actually just have grown to hate it so much, which is really, really, really sad. I actually had such a passion for it, and I'm actually feeling so lost in my life right now. I really do not know what to do next. It's what I've worked for all my life and I've achieved it, but I've never ever been so miserable in my entire life. And I know I can't continue this, not the way I've been doing it. I know what I don't want. I don't want this again. And that's why I'm just thinking of quitting interior design altogether, because I have looked at a lot of the jobs and there's nothing part-time really. So you always just have to devote your entire life to it. Honestly, I value work-life balance and I want to have free time. I'm just really, really thinking of changing my career. And yeah, it's sad, but I think it's what I will have to do, because the burnout for me happened so quickly in that job. And like even now I have a pessimistic outlook onto the future, and I've never really had that before, because I just think like, is every interior design job out there like this? And I think a lot of them are like this. And honestly, I don't think I'm willing to risk it anymore. So now it's my journey to actually find what I want to do. I really don't know how to go from here. I just know I can't continue this way. I actually don't really want other people to experience the same things that I have. I just want to give a little bit more of a balanced view of interior design and the profession. If I had known what the career is like, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have wasted so many years to try and study it. I wouldn't have worked in this field. Yeah, I just know it's not for me. It's way too stressful. It doesn't work with my health, and I actually want to live a life. I don't just want to live for my job. I don't want to just be stressed and have no control over my own life. Yeah, so I actually want to give this information to people that are maybe potentially thinking of going into interior design, just so that you can really be well aware there are negative sides to it, and you really need to make your mind up before you go into the profession. Because to be honest, I think some people were happy that have a little bit of a different personality to me. I just want you to make an educated decision before you are going into interior design. And another thing is, I felt so alone and so isolated within my journey. I honestly didn't really see a lot of this online. I only saw the positive sides of interior design online, and I want to just make you not feel alone if you're also struggling. But yeah, so this was a really hard video to make, and I hope that you're not actually struggling with the same things as me. We can't let ourselves get too down about it, because it's so important to keep your hope, to think positively about the future. Otherwise, it's just really, really depressing. And I know that there are positive things out there, like self-employment and maybe potentially other jobs. Maybe you're just in the completely wrong career and you could find something that suits you much better. So I think it is so important to keep your chin up and to try and think positively about the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you with another video next week. Goodbye.